This game of snooker is probably the most demanding, difficult and exacting ball game played. And if you want to become a good player, then you must be prepared to practice long hours. Now, before showing you some ball play, I'd like to show you a few good pointers that's going to help you with your game of snooker. In the selection of a cue, there are 4 things to look for. Firstly, make sure that the cue is straight, and you can do that by sighting down the cue. Secondly is the balance point. Now, it should be where the points of the butt meet the shaft. That cue would be well balanced. Third point is the length of your cue. With the butt of the cue to the floor, the cue should reach approximately 1 inch below your shoulder. And make sure that there is good timber in the cue, either English ash in the shaft or Canadian maple with ebony in the butt. On the tip, I suggest an elk hide tip, and it should be dome-shaped, the same as looking at the end of your finger. Now you have a dome-shaped tip striking a round ball. The chalk, I prefer triangle brand, and it has a resin action, so you should not go scrubbing into the tip because you're only going to wear away a good tip. It's a light, smooth rub of the chalk every second or third shot. The grip of the cue should be of a firm nature. In taking your grip on the butt of the cue, it's very important to make sure that all 4 finger pads are gripping the cue. This in turn will pull the butt of the cue right up into the palm of the hand so that it becomes a full-blooded grip. The thumb is not to go on top of the cue or the side. Let it ride by the cue, taking the grip only with the 4 fingers and the palm of the hand. The function of the bridge hand is to form an immovable cradle for the cue to run in. And to get that, in placing your bridge hand, make sure that your forward balance weight is going onto the palm of your hand and all 4 finger pads. And with the 4 fingers well spread for stability, it is a full-blooded grip to ensure that your cue doesn't move. Cock the thumb high on meeting the 4 finger for support. That makes a nice deep trough for the cue to run in, and by placing your bridge hand approximately 10 inches from the white ball, there's a beautiful bridge hand that is not going to allow the cue to move. In forming the stance, it should be both comfortable and solid. Distance between the 2 feet is only governed by how tall you are. Turn your right toe slightly forward for comfort, as it's uncomfortable being square, slightly forward. Left toe is pointing in approximately the same direction. The right knee stays straight because that straight right leg is one of your anchor points. The left knee, however, does bend, thus allowing your forward body balance to come over the bent left knee onto the palm of your bridge hand. There's your body balance nicely forward, and even on a power shot, your body shouldn't move. The art of any billiard game is cue ball control, and the way to keep the cue ball under control, it's a combination of 2 things. Where you're going to strike the wide ball around its circumference with the tip of your cue, and the speed that you're going to strike the wide ball at. Where you strike the wide ball, that will determine the line that the cue ball is going to take after it leaves the object ball, and the power that you put into the shot determines how far the white's going to travel. Well, here's a shot applying top spin to the wide ball to make the cue ball, the white ball, follow through behind the object ball. The striking point is 12 o'clock, top dead center. Make sure that on striking the cue ball that your cue follows through. Very important, that is. Another important shot in the game of snooker is the stun shot, where your intention is to stop the white ball immediately on striking the object ball. Now, the striking point on the cue ball for this shot is just below the center of the white ball. A nice brisk stroke, and on striking the cue ball, stop the cue so that there is no follow-through of the cue whatsoever. And the white ball will stop right where the object ball is. And here's a shot that practically every snooker player would like to be able to play successfully, the draw shot or the deep screw shot. And the idea here is to play the red ball and screw the white ball right back to the side cushion to be nicely here for the black into the corner pocket. Now, it's very low on the white ball for this shot, 6 o'clock, or bottom dead center. And again, we are back to allowing the cue to follow through after impact on the white ball. It's going to be a power shot, so you should have chalked your tip well, low to the white ball. Don't be frightened to let the cue go through, and here it is. Nicely on the black, and with a nice steady shot, pocket the black ball. And here's 3 shots showing the effects of side spin when applied to the cue ball. Now, firstly, if you strike the cue ball dead center, it should cross the table and return to the cue. But if struck on the right, it will pull to the right when it hits the far cushion. And if struck on the left, it will travel in a straight line till it hits the rubber cushion over there, but the side spin then grips the rubber and pulls it to the left. Well, that's all easy enough. But now we're coming to something more difficult, and that's the white ball close to the cushion rail. And what so many players do here that's totally wrong is to go right up in the air with their cue to be able to strike the white ball like this. Now, this means that your good stance is gone, your cue action will be missing, and you're certainly not sighting the shot from here, you're only guessing the potting angle. The thing to do is to adopt your normal stance, get right down with your chin on the cue, shorten up in front, make sure that your cue doesn't touch the cushion rail, and don't try and stroke the ball, just a smooth push. And here's another difficult position that can crop up in the game of snooker, bridging over balls. Now, the way to get your cue tip up safely here and not create a foul shot is to get the palm of your hand right up off the table. Because my little finger is shorter, I take that off the table as well, and the forefinger, get that tucked up against the index finger, thumb cocked high, giving a nice trough for the cue to run in, and then playing off 2 fingers only, normal stance, chin down onto the cue, and with a nice smooth action, it's a smooth push. And the shot will be successful, and you're not going to play a foul shot by touching those reds. Now, you can only blame yourself if you're missing shots on a good billiard table. This is a magnificent billiard table. It's a Duke of Edinburgh billiard table made by Alcock, Thompson and Taylor almost 90 years ago. And to show you 3 different shots that can be played in compiling breaks at snooker, firstly, I'd like to show you this stun shot on the red into the corner for the black, a screw shot off the black, which is a power shot, to be back near the cushion to finally cut the last red into the corner pocket. The stun shot first, it's a medium-powered shot. Coming back off the black for the next red, low on the white, let the cue go through. And the final red into the corner, a very fine cut. Snookered on the black by the 2 reds. Here's an opportunity to get out of the snooker without using cushions. A very good way to practice. The line-up. The idea is to pocket all the balls without a miss, and that's good potting practice, and to do it without the cue ball ever touching a cushion, and that's certainly good cue ball control. Once again, it's difficult to start with, but with practice, it does become easier. In compiling big breaks at snooker, the use of the black ball, the highest scoring ball, is essential. And I practice by pocketing the black off its spot upwards of 200 times. Just a short series and working towards that 200 pots off the spot. Well, there you are. Although I've said snooker is a very difficult and exacting game, I'm quite sure that if you are as keen on the game of snooker as I have been over the years, you're going to get many hours of enjoyment the same as I have. Good potting. In talking about this wonderful game of 8-ball pool, I can tell you that it's proving very popular in Australia today. There are a lot of ladies and children playing, and the game is popular for that reason. In the United States and Japan, the games of billiards are all pool games, and most of the European countries are playing pool as well. Because the table is smaller, the balls are smaller, the playing area is smaller, you can use a lighter cue, but the technique of playing, as with English billiards and snooker, is practically the same. The only thing I would suggest is a more upright stance to see the potting angle better. In playing your shots on the bed of the table, you really can't beat the loop bridge. It locks your cue in position and doesn't allow the cue tip to move around. And the same applies when forced to play over cushion rails. This is an ideal grip for locking the cue down, and you can play a soft shot or a power shot, and your bridge hand has the cue locked against allowing the cue tip to go off its mark. In describing the game of 8-ball, the winner will be the player that legally pockets the 8-ball. One player has to pocket the 7 balls under the 8, while his opponent is trying to pocket the 7 balls over the 8 before either player is entitled to take the 8-ball. Now, it's determined who will be on the 7 balls under the 8, the unders, or the 7 balls over the 8, the overs, depending on who pockets the first ball, and it's quite likely that the first ball can be pocketed off the break. It's a very interesting game, a very skillful game, and I'm going to try and demonstrate for you now how you can win a game of 8-ball with only one visit to the table. 7 ball, 5 ball, 'I intend to take the 6th shot, running down the table. 2 ball, 3 ball, centre pocket, 3 for the 4, 4 ball for the 1 ball, and now it's the 1 ball for the 8-ball to win the game. Nicely on the 8-ball for a cut into the centre pocket. Clearing away the balls to win a game, as I just did a moment ago, does take a lot of practice. And one of the best ways to practice is to line the 15 object balls down the centre of the table, the cue ball into a nice handy position to start. The task you're setting yourself is to pot the 15 object balls in 15 consecutive shots without any misses. Take the white ball around the cushions if you have to in gaining position, but it's a very good practice technique for potting and positional play. 6 ball for the centre pocket, and I'm going down the end of the line-up to take the 15 ball next shot. Back for the 9. Back for the 10 ball into the centre. Two ball for the opposite centre pocket. Run through the 4 ball for the 1 ball, leaving a nice angle on the 1 to go down to the other end of the line-up. $14 ball, stunning across the table to take the... I can take the 5 ball into the centre pocket, the 12 ball into the corner pocket. I think the 5 ball. Soft little run through to the other side of the table. Back off the 12. 3 ball into the centre pocket. Back off the 7. Nicely on the 8 ball. Back off the 8 for the 11. Back off the 11 for the 13. And there's the exercise complete without the cue ball ever touching a cushion. And another very good way to practice, taking all 15 object balls, which is good potting practice, only this time the idea is to stun the white ball and hold it to a stop as quickly as you can, keeping it under control. The idea is to take the balls in rotation, starting from the 1 ball, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, working right down the table until finally the ball to be taken is the 15 ball off the $5 bill into this corner pocket. The cue ball must replace the 15 ball on the $5 bill. Now that may sound difficult, and I suppose there is a fair amount of skill to it, but I'm quite sure with a lot of practice you will get proficient at doing this wonderful exercise of good potting and good cue ball control. 1 ball for the 2 ball. 2 for the 3. 3 for the 4. 4 for the 5. 5 for the 6 into the corner pocket. All the time stunning the white ball to a complete stop for ideal position. 6 for the 7 in the centre pocket. 7 ball for the 8 into the opposite centre pocket, next shot. 8 for the 9. 9 ball, corner pocket, this shot. Stunning the white for a stop for the 10 ball in the opposite corner, next shot. 9 for the 10. 10 for the 11. Little bit of chalk to help the Q-tip grip the ball. 11 for the 12. 12 for the 13. 13 into the corner pocket for the 14 ball next shot. 14 for the 15. Leaving the white ball on the $5 bill. Well, there you are. The only thing that I am finding as I travel around the various states of Australia is that local identities are introducing their own rules to the game of 8-ball. Now, there is only one true set and correct copy of the rules of 8-ball. You should get hold of those rules, study them carefully so that you know them off by heart, and I'm quite sure that all the promising players around Australia, ladies, men and children, will enjoy their 8-ball pool much better. Trick and fancy shots. Firstly on the smaller pool table, and then some ones later on the larger snooker table. Now these shots look difficult, but they're not so tough. Providing you're prepared to practice, place the balls correctly, strike the cue ball in the right place with the tip of your cue, and play the shots at the right speed, anybody can get them. Very first trick shot. Looks impossible. Red ball caught against the 2 balls here in the cluster in the centre of the table. The path of the red to the opposite centre pocket is cut off by 3 pairs of object balls. I'm going to try and make the red away from the cluster and into the centre pocket. Another impossible looking shot. The red ball on the string of object balls and the end cushion has the path to the corner pocket cut off by the 15 ball. The idea still is to make the 3 into the corner pocket. And here's a very colourful trick shot that lends itself well to the smaller pool table, to play from this very difficult position down here, to make the red ball off the end of the string of balls into the far corner pocket, commonly known as the snake shot. Here we go. Another one of those very difficult trick shots. 5 object balls into one centre pocket, and finally the 6th object ball into the other centre pocket. Looks difficult, but not quite so difficult with the use of the triangle. A very nice plant shot. The 5 ball, the orange ball, is caught against 3 other balls, forming a little cluster here in the centre of the table. And the idea of the shot is to make the orange ball away from the cluster and into the opposite centre pocket. A really spectacular trick shot this time. The red ball, caught on the side rail in a cluster of object balls, is going to hustle its way, and that's why the shot is called the hustler, right out of this cluster, down the table, through the triangle, over the balls, and into the far corner pocket. Very nice trick shot. The red ball in behind the yellow, and I have to make the red into the far corner pocket. The really difficult trick shots always look the most sensational, and this is a fantastic shot. Here we have the red pearl right in the cluster, and it has to come out of the shell into the corner pocket. And here's one to show your friends. Red ball into the corner pocket, but from under the handkerchief. And now for a run of trick shots on the larger snooker table. Now, most of my range of over 300 trick shots can be played on both tables, but this is a very nice shot to start off with on the bigger snooker table, and it's the railroad 5 shot. The idea being to pocket the red ball into the opposite centre pocket for 3, and at the same time complete my cannon onto the blue for the 5 shot. How to get out of a snooker with 1 or 2 obstacles in the way. Over the reds, through the triangle to hit the yellow. And all that you need here is a little bit of kangaroo side on the white ball. And another fancy way of getting out of a snooker. A swerve shot around the reds to hit the pink. The rapid-firing steeplechase shot, the idea being to send all 8 reds rapidly racing around the angles. I want them to interweave between one another here in the centre of the table, and eventually all 8 reds to finish up in this corner pocket. And if you would like to know how to play these fabulous trick shots, I can tell you that my trick shot book is on sale in all leading bookstores. And here's one of those fabulous trick shots now. Should you require brown, blue, pink, and black to win, then you may as well get them in one shot, like this. rapid-firing machine gun shot. And the idea is to send the white ball first towards the corner pocket, but I have to rapidly race it in with the 6 coloured balls. So it's white ball first, but it has to go in last. Not a trick shot this time, but a fancy shot. Snookered on the pink, a masse, out around the reds, back onto the pink, without using a cushion. The zigzag shot, and the idea is to send the white ball racing down the table behind all 11 reds and eventually finish up by pocketing the pink ball. And should you ever be playing a game of snooker and be on the pink ball, but unfortunately find yourself in this position, this would be the best way out of the snooker. All around the angles to get out of the snooker. Well, there's a very good run of trick shots. And here's one to finish with. Simple enough looking shot, but a very attractive shot as well. And it's just a matter of lining the cues to the centre pocket to get the shot. It's the railway shot.